Hello to everybody watching and listening, and welcome to just a quick tidbit of Everspace 2. I have been enjoying this game a whole lot, and I thought, you know what, why don't I just show off a bit of an absolutely stupidly simple, but also incredibly effective bomber build for this game. This build works especially well, and I almost blew myself up. That is one of the risks with this build. You can very easily just blow yourself up. But also, I can hit free for basically free heals and everything, and look, my ult is already recharged. So I'm going to show the build at the end of this. This is probably the worst target. I seem to be playing very poorly when I'm also talking. But it doesn't matter. This build is so powerful, it doesn't matter if you're playing poorly, honestly. Here we have the ult again. Boom, launch it. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, this build works especially well against the Redeemers because most of their ships are basically just shielded and have relatively low health with relatively high evasion. And that means that the corrosive mines that I am throwing out left, right and center are just tearing these poor guys apart. And I'm not not talking about just slightly tearing them apart. They are tearing through these guys at a record pace. And also, since we are destroying so many things all the time, I can basically throw out my ult all the time. This big sort of plasma ball that just goes through and explodes at the end and deals massive amounts of damage and recharges before the shockwave has even dissipated. Anyway, we've killed enough of the scrubs, so it's time for the two bosses. And yeah, I have powerful cruise missiles to deal with those. So the way that we are doing absolutely incredible amounts of damage is, you see in the upper part of the screen, there's this meter charging to 100%. That is the Final Reckoning special. Final Reckoning being the name of one of my weapons. And one of the, not legendary, what's it called again? Is it called legendary? I forgot. Anyway, one of the special weapons of this game. Basically, once it's charged to 100%, it increases the next secondary weapon attack, the damage of that secondary weapon attack, by an additional 400%, I think. And that just means that our cruise missiles, hang on, I may actually be in a bit of danger here, so let's throw that out, and you can see regenerating. Hitting free basically turns any health damage into health, shield, and armor for me. And that basically means that as long as this is running and I'm doing some damage to health pools, I'm effectively invincible. The missiles are... Oh, okay. Well, that was a... I think that was a crit in there somewhere. And that's the boss going down. Like, just like that. And we can enjoy all this loot. Catalyst blueprint for redemption. How fitting for this area. So now I'm going to just show off the build. And yes, by the way, I did cheat this. I have no intention of going through all the, what's it called again? All the rifts? I keep forgetting what this stuff is called. I have no intention of going through that so many times. So this is the main star of the show, basically. Final Reckoning. The next shot with a secondary weapon, once it's charged, does 400% increased damage, so 5 times damage. And it's a high kinetic damage. That means high armor and low shield damage as far as energy DPS goes. Basically mid-range-ish weapon. I'd say more close than mid-range. Then we have the Marksman Deteriorator, which is basically just there to pad out the Blightmonger set, which increases corrosion damage and has a bunch of buffs based on corrosion. Hence the corrosive mines being absolutely overpowered in this set. Or with this build. We have the powerful cruise missiles, which are basically just there to absolutely demolish anything that is big enough to get hit by them. And for stuff that needs to get destroyed quickly, we have the powerful rockets, which fly very quickly and also do a ton of damage per second. Then we have Nexus Heart here. this is basically just a placeholder until I get some kind of better energy core or better suited energy core. We have the Hazard Shield, which is also part of the Blightmonger set. That's the reason why it's there. Also, the corrosion immunity is pretty good. I think you don't get damaged by your own mines, but sometimes opponents throw corrosive stuff at you. Then we have the optimized hazard plating, and this is also part of the Blightmonger set and gives us radiation immunity while armor is up. We have the Eye of the Storm. It's currently overheated, so it's a bit nerfed. That was part of the location or the mission challenge, whatever you call it, the signal challenge. This is also pretty good. While our ult is below 40%, we just crit with our secondary weapons, so we do even more damage as long as we throw that ult out all the time. We have the deluxe boosters, and I intend to put in a bunch more opulent set items here, which would further boost damage, but currently I only have this one. And finally, the containment unit, which is also part of the Blightmonger set. There is a lot that could be done to further enhance this setup, but even in this current state, it just absolutely shreds basically everything. As far as stuff on the ship, we currently have, of course, sensors impaired, but also here the front shield generation, and we can convert that into weapon damage. We have the EMP generator, which also gives me shield hit points when I use it for each enemy hit, so that's also basically a shield recharge in addition to stunning enemies around me. The nanotransmitter, you've seen that before, it just returns a lot of my hull damage dealt as shield armor and of course health. And then we have the energized boost in case I need to get out and just run away. Perk-wise, I've played with this set basically all the time. There's probably something that could be optimized further here. And of course, all the perks from the other characters unlocked. So yeah, this is the absolutely stupid, but also absolutely stupidly powerful build for the bomber that I've been using. There is a few weaknesses with this build. For example, you do not want to use this if you ever care about your allies around the map, if you're fighting with allies, staying alive, because you will absolutely just blow them up. No way you're going to let them live if you don't take extreme care, and that kind of defeats the entire purpose of this build. It also has a distinct weakness if you're fighting opponents that are all shield. Like, for example, what are they called? The Ancient Wardens or something like that. They are just shield. And they kind of seem to teleport each time you try and throw a missile at them. So you're stuck firing your primary weapons at them and you can't really heal off them. And there's one other thing. And yeah, let's just say goodbye. You can kill yourself in a single shot, by the way, even at full health, because we are doing an absurd amount of damage here to ourselves. Thanks everybody for watching and listening, and until next time.